A lion doesn't have to tell the jungle it's a lion. It moves in silence, and when it strikes, the whole jungle knows. Too many people waste time talking about what they're going to do. They announce their goals, they share their dreams, they look for approval. But let me tell you something. Real success doesn't come from words. It comes from action. The more you talk, the more you expose your weaknesses. The more you seek validation, the more you give away your power. The ones who truly win in life understand one thing. Silence is a weapon. When you move without making noise, when you put in the work without announcing it, when you let the results speak for you, you become unstoppable. There's something dangerous about a person who doesn't reveal their next move. When people don't see you coming, they can't stop you. When they underestimate you, they lower their guard, and that's when you strike. Not with words, not with promises, but with undeniable results. That's how you take control of your life. That's how you rise above the rest. When you act like you have nothing to lose, fear disappears. You stop hesitating. You stop holding back. You stop worrying about opinions that don't matter. And when you reach that level of focus, when you eliminate every excuse, when you stop waiting for permission, success is no longer a possibility. It becomes a guarantee. If you're tired of watching others get ahead, if you're done feeling stuck, this is your wake-up call. This is how you separate yourself from the average. Stay with me until the end, because today you're going to learn why silence is your greatest advantage. And once you master this, nothing will be able to stop you. Number 1, keep your plans private. Most people lose before they even start. Not because they aren't capable, not because they don't have the resources, but because they talk too much. They tell everyone their plans, they announce their goals, they look for approval before they've even taken the first step. And in doing that, they give away their power. They let in distractions. They allow doubt to creep in. And worst of all, they take the energy that should have been used to take action, and they waste it on words. Keeping your plans private isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's about keeping control. It's about protecting your focus, your energy, your vision. Because the moment you start sharing your plans, you open the door to outside opinions. And let's be honest, not everyone wants to see you win. Some people will pretend to support you, but deep down they don't want you to get too far ahead. Because if you succeed, they'll have to face their own lack of progress. The problem is, most people don't realize how dangerous this is. They think sharing their goals is a good thing. They think telling people about their dreams will help them stay accountable. But in reality, it does the opposite. Studies have shown that when you talk about your goals, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that's released when you actually achieve something. That means just by announcing your plans, you feel a small sense of accomplishment, and that feeling makes you less likely to take real action. That's why the best thing you can do is stay quiet and get to work. Keep your head down. Stay focused. Stop looking for validation, because you don't need it. You don't need approval. You don't need people to believe in you before you start. You just need to start. The moment you tell someone your plans, you invite unnecessary opinions. Some people will doubt you. Some will project their own fears onto you. Are you sure? That's risky. What if it doesn't work? And these little comments, these small seeds of doubt, they grow. They stay in your mind. They make you second-guess yourself. And that hesitation is what kills dreams. When you keep your plans private, you stay in control. You eliminate distractions. You stop worrying about what others think. You remove the pressure of expectation. And most importantly, you allow yourself the space to grow without interference. Think about the most successful people you know. Do they announce their every move? Do they tell the world what they're working on before it's ready? No, they move in silence. They build behind the scenes. They let their results speak for them, because they know that talking about a goal and achieving it are two completely different things. It's easy to talk. It's easy to say, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to change my life. But saying it doesn't make it real. And if you say it too soon, to the wrong people, you might never even get started. People believe in proof, not promises. You can tell them all day long about what you're going to do, but until they see results, they won't take you seriously, and they shouldn't, because words mean nothing without action. That's why you have to protect your dreams. Keep them close. Work in silence. Stop looking for reassurance. Stop explaining yourself. Stop feeling like you need to prove something before you've even started. Just do the work. Let the results speak for themselves. When you keep your plans private, you avoid unnecessary pressure. Think about it. If you tell people you're starting a business, suddenly they're watching, they're waiting, they're asking, how's it going? When will it be ready? And now instead of focusing on the work, you're focused on managing expectations. Instead of making real progress, you're stuck feeling like you have to prove something. And that pressure, it slows you down. It makes you hesitate. It makes you overthink. And overthinking kills momentum. But when you stay quiet, when you keep your plans to yourself, you remove that pressure. You free yourself to work at your own pace, to make mistakes without judgment, to grow without interference. One day when everything is in place, when the work is done, when you have real results, then people will notice. Then they'll ask, how did you do it? And that's when you'll realize the silence was the smartest decision you ever made. Because by then you won't need to explain anything. You won't need to prove anything. Your success will speak for itself. The same people who doubted you, who ignored you, who didn't take you seriously, they'll be the ones asking for advice. And that moment will be worth more than any validation you could have gotten by announcing your plans too soon. So don't talk, don't explain, don't announce, just work. Stay quiet, stay focused, move smart, and when the time is right, let your results do the talking. Because real winners don't need to say a word. The world will see it. Number 2, work hard, talk less. People love to talk about what they're going to do. They love to announce their plans, tell the world about their dreams, and describe their ambitions in detail. But here's the truth. Talking about it doesn't make it happen. Telling everyone you're going to do something might make you feel like you're making progress. But in reality, it's just wasted energy. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that truly matters is what you do. The world is filled with people who talk big and do nothing. They say they're going to start a business. They're going to get in shape. They're going to change their life. But years pass and nothing happens. Why? Because talking is easy. Taking action is hard. And most people choose the easy path. They choose to tell people about their goals rather than put in the work to achieve them. And that's why so many stay stuck in the same place year after year. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, if you want to actually get somewhere in life, stop talking and start working. Let your effort do the talking. Let your results be your voice. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about what you say you're going to do. They care about what you've actually done. When you work hard and talk less, something powerful happens. People start to notice. Not because you told them, not because you made an announcement, but because they can see the results. They can see the progress. They can see the transformation. And when that happens, you don't have to explain anything. Your work speaks for itself. Too many people waste their time trying to convince others that they're serious. They try to impress their friends, their family, their followers by talking about their future success. But here's the truth. Nobody is impressed by words. They're impressed by results. They're impressed by action. They're impressed when you show up every day, put in the work, and actually make things happen. Success doesn't come from making promises. It comes from showing up day after day, putting in the effort, and refusing to quit. It comes from doing the hard things, even when nobody is watching. It comes from staying disciplined, even when you don't feel like it. And most importantly, it comes from shutting out distractions, ignoring the noise, and focusing completely on your goals. When you talk too much, you invite unnecessary pressure. The moment you tell everyone about your plans, they start watching. They start asking questions. How's it going? When will you be successful? And suddenly, instead of focusing on the work, you're focused on their expectations. Instead of making progress, you're stuck explaining yourself. And that slows you down. It makes you second-guess yourself. It adds stress that you don't need. But when you stay quiet and just do the work, you're free. Free to move at your own pace. Free to make mistakes and learn without judgment. Free to build something great without outside interference. And when you finally achieve what you set out to do, the results will speak so loudly that words won't be necessary. Most people don't have the patience for this. They want instant recognition. They want people to know they're working hard. They want approval before they've even earned it. And that's why they never get anywhere. Because instead of focusing on the work, they're focused on getting validation. But real success, it doesn't come from validation. It comes from doing the work in silence and letting the results do the talking. The most successful people in the world have one thing in common. They don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't need to tell everyone what they're working on. They just put in the work, day after day, and when it's done, the world sees the results. That's the mindset you need to have. If you're serious about success, stop seeking approval. Stop explaining. Stop announcing. Just work. Work when nobody is watching. Work when nobody believes in you. Work when you feel tired. Work when it seems like nothing is happening. Because every small effort adds up. Every disciplined action moves you closer. Every day of hard work is building something greater than you can see right now. And one day, when the results are undeniable, when the success is real, when you've built something worth talking about, then people will notice. Then they'll ask, how did you do it? And in that moment, you won't need to say a word. Your success will say everything for you. Number 3, let success speak for you. Most people spend their lives trying to prove something. They want to be noticed. They want recognition. They want approval before they've even done the work. They talk about their plans. They brag about their goals. They try to convince everyone that they're on the path to success. But here's the truth. Real success doesn't need an announcement. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need noise. When you're truly successful, you don't have to say a word. The results will do all the talking for you. Look around, and you'll see it everywhere. People who spend more time talking about their dreams than actually working for them. They post about how hard they're grinding, how much they're hustling, how they're going to be rich, how they're going to make it. But months go by, years pass, and nothing changes. Because talking doesn't build success. Hard work does. And the ones who are actually working, they're too busy to explain themselves. Success is quiet. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It just happens. It builds slowly, behind the scenes, in the hours when no one is watching. It comes from consistency, from discipline, from the willingness to work when nobody is clapping for you. And one day, without you having to say a word, people will see the results. They'll see the difference. They'll see the change. And that's when success speaks louder than anything you could ever say. The problem with constantly talking about your goals is that it creates an illusion of progress. When you tell people you're going to do something, your brain feels like you've already accomplished part of it. You get a little dopamine hit, a little validation, and then the urgency to actually do the work fades. That's why so many people get stuck. They spend so much time talking about what they're going to do that they never actually do it. But when you stay quiet and just focus on the work, something shifts. You don't waste energy trying to impress people. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You don't need permission or approval. You just put your head down and do what needs to be done. And over time, the results become undeniable. The people who doubted you, they'll see it. The ones who didn't take you seriously, they'll see it. The ones who ignored you, they'll see it. But by then it won't matter, because you won't need their approval anymore. You won't need their validation. The success you built will be all the proof you need. Most people don't have the patience for this. They want recognition right now. They want credit before they've earned it. And that's why they never make it. Because success isn't about looking successful. It's about actually becoming successful. And that only happens when you stop trying to prove yourself and start focusing on what really matters. When you're working in silence, something powerful happens. You start developing skills that others don't even know you have. You start building discipline that most people will never understand. And you start separating yourself from the crowd. Because while they're busy talking about what they're going to do, you're actually doing it. And then one day, when they least expect it, they'll look around and realize you've passed them. While they were wasting time trying to convince the world, you were putting in the hours. While they were looking for shortcuts, you were mastering your craft. While they were talking, you were building. And by the time they notice, it's already too late. See, real winners don't spend time proving themselves to others. They prove themselves to themselves. They know that at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is results. And those results don't come from talking. They come from showing up every single day and putting in the work. This is why the most successful people are often the most humble. They don't need to brag. They don't need to explain. They don't need to seek approval, because their success is all the proof they need. And that's why they keep winning, because they let their results do the talking. The most powerful thing you can do is let your success speak for you. Not your words, not your promises, not your explanations, just your results. Work in silence, stay focused, keep pushing forward. And one day, when the results are impossible to ignore, the world will have no choice but to pay attention. But by then you won't even care, because you'll have already won. Number 4, ignore opinions. Stay focused. Most people never reach their full potential because they let the opinions of others dictate their lives. They hesitate. They doubt themselves. They stop before they even begin. Not because they don't have what it takes, but because they're too busy listening to the voices around them. But here's the truth. Other people's opinions don't pay your bills. They don't build your dreams. They don't determine your future. Only you do. And the moment you stop letting outside noise control your mind, that's when everything changes. Think about how many dreams have been destroyed because someone listened to the wrong person. Someone told them they weren't good enough. Someone laughed at their idea. Someone said it was impossible. And instead of proving them wrong, they believed it. They gave up before they even tried. That's the danger of caring too much about what others think. It plants doubt where confidence should be. It makes you second-guess yourself when you should be taking action. It keeps you stuck when you should be moving forward. Success requires focus. It requires the ability to shut out the noise and lock in on what truly matters. And the reality is, most people who give you their opinion don't even know what they're talking about. They're not living the life you want. They're not doing what you're trying to do. They're just projecting their own fears, their own failures, and their own insecurities onto you. If you listen to them, you become them. And if you let their words affect you, you start living on their terms instead of your own. You have to ask yourself, who are you really living for? Because if you're constantly trying to impress people, constantly trying to prove something, constantly worried about how others see you, then you're not in control of your own life. You're giving that power away. And most of the time, the people whose opinions you care about don't even care about you as much as you think they do. They might criticize you today, but they'll forget about it tomorrow. Meanwhile, you'll be the one stuck, carrying their words like a weight on your shoulders. Let's be honest. Most people are afraid to go after what they really want because they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to fail in front of others. They don't want to be judged. But that fear is an illusion, because the truth is, no one is thinking about you as much as you think they are. People are too busy dealing with their own problems, their own insecurities, their own struggles. And even if they do judge you, even if they do have something to say, what does it really change? Absolutely nothing. You're still in control of your next move. You still decide how your story plays out. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they got there by listening to doubters? Do you think they let critics stop them? No, they pushed forward despite the negativity. They kept going when others told them to quit. They didn't let opinions dictate their path. And that's why they made it. Because they were too focused on their vision to be distracted by noise. When you stay focused, people will have something to say. When you start changing, people will notice. When you begin chasing something bigger, people will question you. That's just how it works. The moment you step outside of the ordinary, the moment you break free from the crowd, you will attract opinions. And most of them will come from people who are too afraid to do what you're doing. It's easier for them to criticize than to take action themselves. But here's the key. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to justify your dreams. You don't need permission to go after what you want. Every minute you spend worrying about what others think is a minute you could have spent building your future. Every second you waste seeking approval is a second you could have used to make progress. The people who succeed in life are the ones who understand this. They move in silence. They work in the shadows. They don't waste energy proving themselves to people who don't matter. They stay locked in on their goals, and eventually the results speak for themselves. If you want to make something happen, if you want to change your life, you have to develop tunnel vision. You have to be so focused on your mission that opinions become irrelevant. You have to stop explaining yourself. Stop defending yourself. Stop looking for validation. Because the only validation you need is progress. The only thing that matters is whether you're moving forward. And the only person you need to prove anything to is yourself. It's time to stop living for approval and start living for results. Stop worrying about what they'll say and start focusing on what you're doing. Because in the end, when you make it, when you succeed, when you achieve what you set out to do, those same people who doubted you, who laughed at you, who criticized you, they'll be the ones watching in silence. But by then, their opinions won't matter, because you will have already won. Number 5, take risks without fear. Most people spend their whole lives waiting for the right moment, waiting for the perfect plan, waiting for the fear to go away. And while they're waiting, life is passing them by. The people who win in life are the ones who stop waiting and start acting. They're the ones who understand that risk isn't something to be avoided. It's something to be embraced. Because without risk, there is no reward. Without stepping into the unknown, there is no growth. And without taking chances, you will never know what you're truly capable of. Fear is the number one reason people stay stuck. They fear failure. They fear what others will think. They fear making a mistake. But here's the truth. Fear is nothing more than a mental barrier. It's an illusion that only has power if you give it power. The people who go far in life are not the ones who never feel fear. They are the ones who act in spite of it. They understand that being afraid is part of the process, but they refuse to let it control them. Think about it. Every single person who has ever achieved something great had to take a risk. Every successful business, every groundbreaking idea, every life-changing decision, it all started with someone willing to take a leap, despite the uncertainty. If you're waiting for all the fear to go away before you act, you will be waiting forever. Because fear doesn't disappear. You just get stronger. You just learn to push through it. Most people play life too safe. They stay in their comfort zone because it feels familiar, because it feels secure. But let me tell you something. Security is an illusion. There is no such thing as a safe path in life. There are only choices. And the choice to avoid risk is still a choice. It's a choice to stay average. It's a choice to never grow. It's a choice to let life happen to you instead of taking control. And that is the biggest risk of all. Look around. The people who never took risks, where are they? Stuck in the same job they hate. Stuck in the same cycle of complaining but never changing. Stuck in a life they never truly wanted. Because they chose safety over growth. They chose fear over possibility. And they let their doubts keep them from ever finding out what they were truly made of. Now let's be clear. Taking risks doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean jumping into something blindly without thinking. It means being smart but fearless. It means understanding the consequences, but still choosing to go for it. It means betting on yourself, even when no one else will. Because at the end of the day, that's what success comes down to. Having the courage to believe in yourself when no one else does. Some of you right now are sitting on an idea, a dream, a goal, but you're holding back because of fear. You're afraid of what might go wrong. You're afraid of failing. But let me ask you this. What if it goes right? What if this decision changes everything? What if this risk is the one that takes your life to the next level? You'll never know if you don't take the chance. The biggest regrets in life are not the risks you took that didn't work out. They are the chances you didn't take. The what ifs, the missed opportunities. The times you let fear win. And when you look back, you won't remember the small failures, the little setbacks. You will remember the moments you played it too safe. You will remember the dreams you didn't chase. And that's a pain far worse than failure. Failure isn't the end. It's part of the process. Every mistake teaches you something. Every setback builds you. Every wrong turn is just a step toward the right one. The difference between successful people and everyone else is that they don't see failure as a stop sign. They see it as feedback. They learn, they adjust, and they try again. You want something big in life. You're going to have to take a risk. You want to change your situation. You're going to have to step into uncertainty. You want to be great. You're going to have to do things that scare you. That's just how it works. There is no other way. So stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop letting fear control you. Because every moment you hesitate, you're losing time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. Take the risk. Go after what you want. Bet on yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. Number 6. Silence protects your goals. They tell everyone their plans, their goals, their big dreams. They feel excited, so they share every detail with friends, family, coworkers, anyone who will listen. And for a moment, that feels good. It feels like progress. But here's the truth. Talking about your goals doesn't get you closer to achieving them. In fact, it often does the opposite. The more you talk, the less you do. The more you share, the more distractions and doubts you invite into your life. Silence protects your goals, because when you keep things to yourself, you keep your focus, you keep your energy, you keep your power. When you tell the world what you're about to do, you give people the chance to plant doubt in your mind. You open the door for opinions, for negativity, for unnecessary noise that can shake your confidence. The wrong words from the wrong person can make you question everything. And sometimes, that's all it takes for you to slow down. Or worse, stop completely. Not everyone needs to know what you're working on. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will support you. Some people will secretly hope you fail. Some will try to discourage you, not because they want to protect you, but because they don't want to see you succeed. They're comfortable with you staying the same. They're comfortable with you being just like them. The moment you start growing, the moment you start chasing something bigger, you make them uncomfortable, and they will project their fears onto you. Are you sure this is a good idea? That sounds risky. What if it doesn't work out? If you're not careful, their doubts will become your doubts. Silence keeps you in control. It allows you to move in peace, to work without distractions, to stay focused on what really matters. When you keep your goals private, you remove the need for validation. You stop looking for approval. You stop seeking permission. And that is powerful, because once you stop needing outside confirmation, you become unstoppable. You don't waste energy explaining yourself. You don't waste time convincing others to believe in you. You just get to work. When you're silent, you avoid unnecessary pressure. Think about how many people announce their goals to the world, only to quit a few weeks later. They tell everyone they're going to start a business, get in shape, change their life. But when things get tough, when motivation fades, when results don't come fast enough, they stop. And now they have to face the embarrassment of not following through. They have to deal with the questions, the looks, the judgment. That pressure can be overwhelming. It can make you feel stuck. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you move on your own terms. You're not proving anything to anyone. You're just focused on getting it done. Real success doesn't come from talking. It comes from action. It comes from showing up every day and putting in the work. It comes from doing what others won't. It comes from discipline, consistency, and commitment. And that doesn't require an audience. It doesn't require applause. It requires quiet effort. It requires sacrifices that no one will see. It requires pushing through the hard days, the doubt, the failures, without seeking sympathy or reassurance. The most successful people in the world don't announce their every move. They don't waste time explaining their vision to people who won't understand it. They don't look for validation. They just work. And one day their results speak so loudly that they don't have to say a word. You don't need to impress people with your plans. Impress them with your results. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Prove it to yourself. Let your success be the evidence. Let your work be the proof. When you achieve what you set out to do, you won't have to explain. People will see it. They will know. So keep your goals close. Protect them. Work in silence. Move in the shadows. Build in private. And when it's time, let your results do the talking. Because the loudest success comes from those who were once silent. Number 7. Move smart, not loud. People believe that making noise gets them ahead. They think that if they talk enough, if they show off enough, if they make sure everyone knows what they're doing, success will come faster. But the truth is, real progress happens in silence. The people who win in life aren't the loudest. They're the smartest. They don't waste time announcing every move. They don't let distractions pull them off track. They move with intention, with focus, with strategy. Moving smart means understanding that your energy is valuable. Every minute you spend talking about what you're going to do is a minute you could have spent actually doing it. Every time you explain your plan to someone who doesn't believe in you, you waste energy defending yourself instead of building yourself. Smart people don't get caught up in noise. They don't seek validation. They don't need approval. They simply work, improve, and execute. Success isn't about showing off. It's about making real progress. A loud person might get attention for a moment, but attention isn't the same as results. Just because people see you doesn't mean you're winning. Just because people hear you doesn't mean you're making moves. Real power comes from action, not words. It comes from moving in a way that's effective, not performative. Look at the most successful people in any field. They don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't make unnecessary noise. They don't reveal every step of their journey before it's complete. They work quietly. They think strategically. And when the results come, the world takes notice. They aren't out there proving themselves with words. They prove themselves with what they build, what they achieve, what they become. Moving smart means being intentional about who you share your plans with. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Not everyone will understand. Some people will discourage you. Some will envy you. Some will pretend to support you but secretly hope you fail. If you talk too much, you invite unnecessary resistance. If you share too much, you give people the opportunity to sabotage your progress, even if they don't mean to. Protect your energy. Protect your momentum. Share only what's necessary and keep the rest to yourself. Smart people also know when to act and when to wait. Not every opportunity needs to be taken. Not every battle needs to be fought. Loud people rush into things without thinking. They react emotionally. They make decisions based on impulse. But those who move with intelligence take their time. They analyze. They plan. They position themselves for the best possible outcome. They don't waste movement. They don't act just for the sake of acting. Every step they take is deliberate. Every decision is calculated. If you want to go far, focus on efficiency, not noise. Focus on getting things done, not getting attention. Work in the background. Build your foundation. Strengthen your skills. And when the time is right, let your results do the talking. The world doesn't need another person shouting about what they're going to do. The world needs more people who actually do it. So move smart. Be strategic. Stay focused. Let others waste their energy trying to impress. You stay disciplined. You stay committed. And when you succeed, it won't be because you talked about it. It'll be because you worked for it. And that's a success no one can take away from you. Number 8. Show results, not promises. Talk is cheap. People love to talk about what they're going to do, what they plan to achieve, and how their lives are going to change. But how many actually follow through? How many times have you seen someone make big promises, only to watch them stay exactly where they are? The truth is, the world isn't impressed by words. It's impressed by action. The people who truly succeed don't waste time telling everyone what they're going to do. They just do it. And when they do, the results speak louder than any words ever could. Most people think that if they talk about something enough, it will somehow become real. They tell their friends, their family. They post about it online. They announce to the world that they're going to start a business, get in shape, change their lives. And for a moment, they feel good. They feel accomplished. But here's the problem. Talking about it doesn't mean doing it. It creates an illusion of progress without any real movement. And before they know it, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and nothing changes. They're still in the same place, making the same excuses, wondering why things aren't happening for them. That's the trap most people fall into. They convince themselves that their words are enough, that as long as they say the right things, people will believe in them. But the truth is, no one cares about what you say you're going to do. They care about what you actually do. They care about results. If you truly want to change your life, stop making promises and start making progress. Stop announcing your plans to the world and start working on them in silence. Because here's the reality. Action is the only thing that counts. Results are the only proof that matters. You don't need to convince anyone when your work speaks for itself. You don't need validation when you can prove yourself through action. People respect discipline. They respect effort. They respect those who quietly put in the work and let their success do all the talking. Think about it. When you meet someone who constantly brags about how they're going to be rich or successful, but never takes any real steps, do you take them seriously? Of course not. But when you see someone quietly grinding, pushing forward, improving every single day, and then one day they have the business, the body, the career, the life they said they wanted, you respect them. Not because they told you what they were going to do, but because they actually did it. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. Winners don't waste time explaining. They don't feel the need to convince others of their potential. They don't seek approval. They don't wait for permission. They know that results are the only thing that truly matter, and they focus on creating them. If you want to be taken seriously, stop talking and start doing. If you want to get in shape, don't post about it. Just train hard and let your transformation show. If you want to build a business, don't keep telling people your ideas. Work day and night and let your success prove it. If you want to change your life, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start moving forward. And when you get there, people will see it for themselves. The truth is, results are undeniable. People can argue with words, but they can't argue with proof. They can doubt your dreams. They can question your abilities. They can even laugh at your ambitions. But when you show up and deliver, when you prove yourself through action, there's nothing left to say. That's why the smartest, most successful people in the world don't waste their time trying to convince anyone of their worth. They don't announce every step they take. They don't need to explain themselves. Because when they succeed, their results do all the talking. So stop promising and start proving. Let other people waste their time talking about what they're going to do while you stay focused. Stay consistent. Stay disciplined. Work in silence. And when your results start speaking for you, the whole world will listen. Number 9. Stop seeking approval. There comes a point in life when you have to stop looking around for approval, for permission, for validation. Too many people are stuck, not because they lack the ability, not because they don't have the opportunities, but because they're too busy worrying about what others think. They hesitate, they hold back, they second-guess themselves, all because they're afraid of how they might be judged. And in the process, they waste time, precious time that could have been spent moving forward, making progress, building something real. The truth is, if you live your life waiting for approval, you'll never truly live. You'll always be adjusting yourself to fit someone else's expectations, someone else's definition of success, someone else's version of what's right and wrong. And here's the thing, no matter what you do, people will always have an opinion. If you chase your dreams, some will call you unrealistic. If you play it safe, others will say you're not ambitious enough. If you work hard, some will call you obsessed. If you take a break, others will say you're lazy. No matter which path you take, there will always be someone who disapproves. So why waste energy trying to please them? The strongest people, the most successful people, the ones who actually build something great, they understand this. They don't spend their lives chasing applause. They don't constantly ask, what will people think? Because they know that's a dead-end question. Instead, they ask themselves, what do I want? And they go after it, regardless of whether or not the world claps for them. Think about how much time and energy people waste trying to impress others. They buy things they don't need to impress people. They don't even like. They hold back their ideas because they're afraid of being criticized. They wait for someone to give them permission before they take the first step. And in the end, they realize too late that they spent their entire life trying to fit in when they were meant to stand out. The moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you take real control over your life. That's when you start making decisions for yourself, based on what truly matters to you. That's when you start pursuing goals that actually mean something, instead of doing what's expected. That's when you stop hesitating, stop overthinking, stop worrying about whether or not people will like you. And that's when things start to change. People will judge you no matter what, but their opinions don't pay your bills. Their approval won't build your business. Their validation won't get you in shape. Their applause won't make your dreams come true. What will? Action, effort, focus, discipline. That's what changes things. Every single person who has ever achieved something great had to go through this. They had to deal with people doubting them, criticizing them, laughing at them, and they had to make a choice. Do they let that stop them, or do they move forward anyway? The ones who succeed are the ones who stop caring about what others think and start caring more about their own progress. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to go after what you want. Stop looking around for someone to give you permission. You don't need it. This is your life. These are your dreams. No one else is going to make them happen for you. No one else is going to live with the consequences of your choices but you. So why let other people's opinions control your actions? You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you want something. You don't need to justify your dreams. You don't need to get approval before you take the first step. The only thing you need is to decide what matters to you and then go after it with everything you have. The people who spend their lives chasing approval, they never win. They never fully commit. They never go all in because they're too afraid of being judged. And so they stay stuck. They stay small. They stay in the same place, year after year, wondering why nothing ever changes. But the ones who let go of that need for validation, they move fast, they take risks, they make mistakes, they learn, they grow, they improve. And in the end, they're the ones who actually build something real. So if you're waiting for approval, stop. If you're holding back because you're afraid of what people might say, let that fear go. If you've been living your life according to someone else's expectations, it's time to take back control. Because at the end of the day, the only person you need approval from is yourself. And when you stop caring about what the world thinks, when you focus only on what truly matters to you, that's when you become unstoppable. Number 10, win quietly. Shock everyone. There is a kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to scream for attention. It doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. It just moves in silence, works in the dark. And when it finally reveals itself, the world is left in shock. That's the power of winning quietly. That's the strategy of those who don't waste time seeking approval, who don't beg for recognition, who don't let distractions slow them down. They just work, they build, they improve, and when the time is right, they let their success do all the talking. Too many people waste their energy trying to look successful instead of actually becoming successful. They talk about their plans before they've even taken the first step. They share every small move they make, looking for praise, looking for validation. And in the process, they lose focus. They get caught up in impressing people instead of improving themselves. They mistake attention for achievement, but the ones who truly win, they don't play that game. They understand that real growth happens in private. The best moves are made in silence. Think about the most successful people in the world. The ones who truly changed their lives. Did they spend their time telling everyone what they were going to do? No, they disappeared. They locked in. They worked when no one was watching. They sacrificed in silence. And when they finally stepped into the light, they were unrecognizable. Their results spoke so loudly that no explanation was needed. The problem with announcing your every move is that it invites unnecessary opinions. The moment you tell people what you're working on, you open the door for doubt, criticism, and negativity. You give people a chance to discourage you before you've even built momentum. And worse, you start feeling satisfied just from talking about your goals, instead of actually achieving them. That's why so many people talk big, but never follow through. They get addicted to the attention, not the process. But when you win quietly, you stay in control. You don't let outside noise affect your progress. You don't let opinions slow you down. You move with precision. You put in the work without distractions. And because you're not constantly looking for validation, you build something real, something that no one can take away from you. Winning quietly doesn't mean you don't celebrate your victories. It doesn't mean you don't acknowledge your progress. But it means you understand timing. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You know that showing your results is far more powerful than promising them. You know that people respect results, not words. Think about it. Who do you admire more? The person who constantly talks about what they're going to do, or the person who suddenly shows up, transformed? The one who tells you they're going to be successful, or the one who just becomes successful? The loudest in the room is rarely the most powerful. The real power is in quiet execution. Winning quietly also protects your energy. When you're not wasting time explaining yourself to people who don't matter, you can focus entirely on what does. You can put your energy where it belongs, on the work, on the discipline, on the grind. And when you finally reach the top, you won't have to say a word. The results will speak for themselves. Imagine how powerful it would be if instead of telling people your plans, you just worked. Instead of posting every step of your journey, you just improved. Instead of seeking validation, you built something undeniable. Imagine coming back after months of silence. Stronger, smarter, more disciplined, more successful. Imagine shocking everyone, not because you told them what was coming, but because they never saw it coming. That's the power of winning quietly. That's the strategy of those who truly succeed. They don't waste time talking. They don't need to prove anything. They don't seek approval. They just work, they grow, they win. And when the world finally notices, it's already too late to stop them. The loudest one in the room is the weakest one. Real power moves in silence. Real success doesn't need an announcement. At the end of the day, talking won't change your life. Action will. People waste so much time explaining, proving, and seeking approval. But none of that matters. What matters is what you do when no one is watching. What matters is the effort you put in when no one believes in you. You don't need to convince anyone. Just work, just build, just stay focused. Let them doubt you, let them talk. Because one day, they won't have a choice but to respect you. Not because of what you said, but because of what you did. Move in silence. Work like you have nothing to lose. And when the time is right, let your results do all the talking.